The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Monday, the 28th day of March, 2022. Welcome to the Daily Hour, brought to you by Medical House One Communications and Lindos. I'm Jamal Hartman. She's Sherry Vanderpool, and Leanna Lambert will be with us in a bit to bring you the latest in her news break, brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Happy first day of the traditional work week to you, Sister Sherry.
Oh, thank you, Jamal. I appreciate the sentiment.
No problem. I'm trying this thing this week on see how long it lasts. It is April Fool's. So how was your weekend?
It was good. I was a little busy, but it was good overall. I can't complain. How about yours?
Thanks for asking. Gee, I went to a boat show yesterday, Palm Beach International Boat Show, and I saw goslings everywhere. Nice. Goslings, Carpier, goslings. I had to go to the goslings tent, and of course, I don't drink, so I'm gonna have to speak to Mr. Gosling and Gosling's family about making sure they have some, non-alcoholic mocktails. You could call it the Jamal Hartman or something. Jamal Hartman special from you special. But anyway, I went there, and I didn't buy a boat, folks. I didn't buy a boat, but if you on my WhatsApp, you did see my post where I was asking if anybody wants to go in with me on buying a little boat, then let me know. I'll put $1 down, and you can take her to rest.
It's the maintenance.
Yeah. Absolutely. Like buying the boat's one thing, but maintaining them, oh boy. But Sherry, something.
What, Jamal?
Well, you know what? Good morning, everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. A good one to begin our traditional work week on this show. Eugene Dean stops by with Sophia Cannonier. We're going to discuss the Collective Action Solidarity Trust, better known as the CAS Group. The Daily Play is a Who Said It, but Sherry, we're going to push back our initial conversation today, which was the language used by Member of Parliament Thomas Christopher Famous. But we're going to talk about that another day. Sister Sherry, the reason we're going to talk about that another day is because something happened and the world's talking about it.
Okay.
Last night, when I should have been asleep, when everybody else probably was asleep, an actor named Will Smith went and put his hands on a comedian named Chris Rock.
Comedian.
If you've never heard of these gentlemen, Will Smith used to be a rapper, then became an actor, and Chris Rock, comedian and actor. They're both two black males. I believe one's from Philadelphia, West Philadelphia, born and raised, and the other one is from New York. But my problem, and I guess the question to the audience this morning, the question I'll put out there, my question is, what can we learn from the incident between Chris Rock, the comedian, and Will Smith, the actor, that took place at the Oscars? What can we learn from it? Because everyone has an opinion. But what can we learn from it?
You can learn self-control. That's number one. Number two is the Oscars, Jamal. Will Smith was the good, bad, and ugly. He was good. He won.
I have two problems with what you said already. Okay, you said control. You said control our actions. That's what you said first, right?
Self-control.
So self-control on whose part? Chris Rock's for talking about his wife's medical condition, or Will Smith for reacting to the joke about his, like that's I honestly, let me be clear. I have no opinion on it. So
Okay.
I'm asking the question. I have no opinion. That's the first one. The second part you said just now was it's the Oscars. So are we now saying because it's this white Oscar event, he shouldn't have did it, but if it was BET Awards, it would have been okay?
No. So what I'm saying, it is the Oscars, and that's what they do. They joke about everything. Amy Schumer joked about being a white woman. Regina and Wanda Sykes joked about many different aspects, and that's what they do. It's jokes. Should he have controlled himself? Yes. Yes. Chris Rock did a joke as what he was supposed to do and what he does. And Will Smith and Jada Pinkett have been there at the Oscars many times and already know what goes on at the Oscars. So should Will Smith have gotten up and gone and assaulted someone? Absolutely not. Should he have checked him maybe afterwards? Yeah. That's what a man does.
But why is it manly to check someone afterwards in private when what they said is in public? These are my questions. And again, I have no opinion. I just have questions based on everything I'm seeing. Like, I'm really trying to understand. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a medical expert. I'm not a war expert, but I have questions because everything I've seen from my perspective, and the reason I don't have an opinion, it doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense. If someone disrespects you publicly, you approach them in the setting that they disrespected you. No.
So he should have slapped him?
I didn't say that. Because let me finish my thought. Is what I'm saying is if someone disrespects you in a setting, you have that right to respond in that setting. No, violence is another thing. Violence is another thing. No, I'm not going to sit here and judge Chris Rock because at the end of the day, this is what pisses me off about the times we're living in. And you all could shut this damn show off at any time. I don't care if you cancel me. I ain't nobody, right? But my problem is that there are people, and again, I could care less about both sides, but there's arguments for both sides. We live in such a delicate time where comedians can't be comedians because everybody wants to tell you what's sensitive. Right? So, okay, for those who say Chris Rock went too far speaking about his wife's medical condition, point taken. For those who say, well, it's just comedy, Will Smith should know better, point taken. But where do we draw this line? Do we have to have rules every place we go? Do we, like, I'm really trying to make sense of it with all the opinions. What I'm not going to do is get angry at somebody who feels a certain way about it. Why? Because regardless, these are two highly paid black men that whatever they do between themselves ain't gonna impact my damn life a damn bit. So I'm not taking it on. I'm not hating you for your thoughts on it. I'm literally just trying to understand what we can learn from this rather than picking a fight with Sherry and arguing against her opinion. I'm trying to figure out what we can learn from this, seriously, because I'll tell you this here. I don't know how I would react. I'm not going to say I wouldn't have went up and wanted to hit somebody if they did that, if it was my wife. But at the same time, I would hope I wouldn't want to react that way. And I would, if anything, go up and say, bro, you've taken it too far. Take it back. Just like, not take it back as in what you said, just pull back, like, you know? But it's a tough one. Go ahead, Sherry.
It's a tough one. And I hear your questions. I still think that what happens at the Oscars is what they do. They roast everyone. And Jada Pinkett Smith is not special in that sense that she may not get caught in the crossfire. Will Smith, as I said before, should have had some self-control in the way that he reacted.
I don't disagree with what you said, though, Sherry. I just think, again, I'm asking, honestly, maybe somebody has the answer. Being roasted's one thing. Being roasted about a medical condition is another. Like that to me is probably where, again, I don't know where the line is because Dave Chappelle been telling some truths and everybody wants to cancel him.
Right.
Right.
But
So
I think,
and to be honest, people can say, well, it's a medical condition that David Chappelle is criticizing people for. I'm literally trying to figure out because, you know, I got on this mic and I say what's on my mind. You know what I'm saying?
But it's a medical condition that she put forth to everybody. She let everybody know. And I don't know. I don't think it was that serious to me, honestly.
Mhm.
We know that she has alopecia. You know that the jokes possibly come. I don't think him saying he's going to see G.I. Jane 2 next series was something that was that offensive.
Chris Rock
I
didn't.
really didn't. I don't think it was. And yes, I saw Jada Pinkett Smith like, all right, Chris. But Jada, you also been in this space for a very long time. And again, to me, you know what happens at the Oscars. Everybody's fair game.
But it doesn't just happen at the Oscars, Sherry. It happens at every damn show. There's a comedian hosting it. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I'll never forget Jamie Foxx hosting the MTV Music Awards, I think it was. And the only person he didn't criticize was Suge Knight. He said, "Take that damn picture down." I said, "Take that picture down," because his skirt. Everybody was scared of Suge Knight back then. I mean, Michael Jackson dealt with it for years. You know, again, not in that situation. I'm really trying to figure out what we can learn from this. Tamara Richardson, you are absolutely correct. They are one and the same. The language used by I'm saying Thomas Christopher Famous, MP Famous, and we'll touch on that tomorrow. We definitely will. That is a conversation we can't ignore. But again, language, reactions, actions, consequences. David Michael R. Wilson says you can learn that every action has a reaction. Yeah,
And everything has a time and place.
yeah. And again, but who determines that time and place? I think that's where the separation is. I have no problem if I did something wrong to you in this setting, then I expect you respond in this setting. If it didn't happen in this setting, then handle it where it happened. I have no play. I don't respect white spaces more than black spaces. At the end of the day, if people weren't saying, "Oh, well, this is the Oscars, this ain't BET," I saw a post like that. I did, and I'm just like, we're just literally giving a white space more credit, more, making it seem more elegant. Like this is not what takes place. Or nah, player, that's how they act with that gun violence. Oh, it's over there, and then when it comes home, it's a problem. No, it's a problem if it's over in our space too.
I don't care what award show it would have happened at. It's the same thing. We can go back to MTV where Kanye West went and jumped up on stage in front of Taylor Swift. No, he didn't hit her, but it was quite an embarrassing moment. Could he have done things differently? Yes. I don't care what award show it would have been, Jamal. If Chris Rock was on BET Awards saying the same thing and Will responded the same way, my response is still the same. It's a time and a place.
Then take the Oscars out then say it's the Oscars was your point originally. It's the Oscars. It's not the Oscars.
It is.
But what I'm saying
is my point.
No, but
you
just said that it could have taken place anywhere. But
it could have.
Right, but if that's your point, then it's not about the Oscars. Once you say the Oscars, it's like you're protecting white space, and so
I'm not.
Right,
it happens.
So if
the Oscars is roasting people, then that's what it is. And if the same joke happened at a different award show, Jamal, then the exact same thing. I'm not going to take the Oscars out of it. I'm not.
But if you don't take the Oscars out of it, your point is saying that it's this white space. That's my point. Is if I'm saying it's the Oscars, it shouldn't happen, then what am I doing? I'm saying it shouldn't happen at any award show. Is what I would say is the point. That's the point you're trying to make, is that it shouldn't happen at an award show. Whether I agree or not, it's neither here or there. I'm just saying I refuse to use language that's protecting a white space. We are too often channeled to actually our intent make believe these white spaces. We should not act a certain way, and it's okay if it's over there. So I refuse to allow that language to make us believe that's okay as a collective. The Oscars is traditionally a white space, and since we're talking about it, let's just go back a few years when Chris Rock was hosting the event, and Chris Rock used language regarding Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith, where they refused to attend, which I thought was a joke as well, Chris. But I ain't trying to get a pimp slapped by Ali today. But that said, he basically made a joke that, nobody cared. It's like him trying to get Rihanna's pen, whatever. It seems like Brother Will was holding on to something. And if that's the case, again, I have no facts, folks. If that's the case, brother, it's not a good look. It's probably not a good look, honestly. It's not.
Let it go.
Now, again, I'm no therapist. I'm no therapist. But you let's go to the comment. Brother Will, man. You saw that post. Someone said that's why your ass got sent to Bel Air in the first place. Like,
Yeah.
man, let's go to some comments. Right? You can see Sam Cat Place.
Yes. Laugh out loud, morning, laugh out loud. Will said, when you're in your highest moment, the devil comes for you. Wow, he done took the bait. Laugh out loud. Don't be like Will. Shaking my head. Actors to a high regard.
Traveling Trotty says it's a time and place to discuss disagreements. Chris delivered the joke, but it was a team that wrote and approved the jokes. Will was laughing at first. Yeah, he gave a signal. But I've got another question for you regarding that, Sherry. So I've seen some
What?
tweets where people are saying, oh, he defended his woman. That's what every black man should do. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, let me just, for me, Jamal, and whether it be right or wrong, I'm not looking at this, and I know what it is as a white space, a black space, and all of these type of spaces. I'm looking at a person reacting to something that was said, and regardless, at this space they roast people, and at this space he should have not responded in the way that he did. So for me, it's just like, come on, Will, step up to the plate and do what you need to do as a man, and not respond in a way that people are going to look at
So
you.
you disagree with those like that's saying, I want my man to defend me like Jada, he defend Jada?
I want my man to defend me, but to defend me in a way that's going to not put him in a space that Will's in. He could have still checked him. He didn't have to do it at that
You think
time,
Jada,
Jamal.
you think Jada checked him?
Jack checked who? Will?
Yeah.
She did with her expression. When she leaned back and was like, that was the check for Will. Yes.
Oh, that's what a
Yeah.
black woman does. She goes like that.
He caught that and he reacted in it. But I don't think that Will should have did that at all. I don't care what space it was in.
You know what I like and I'd love to see? I'd love to see, and this may be a very messed up thing to say, I'd love to see people in this position because everybody's opinions are so strong when they're not involved. And I only say this because having gone through what I've gone through, and we all go through stuff, I've just seen the amount of things that we say we do and we would do and how wrong other people are until we experience it. And that's kind of why I have no strong opinion on this. Do I agree with either one? No. I feel like liberalism has ruined comedy. That's my honest opinion. I think liberalism has ruined comedy because Chris Rock as a comedian, Dave Chappelle, Jeff Foxworthy, white black comedians basically are walking on eggshells. Comedy is there for the take. It's to make people laugh and feel good, sometimes at other people's expense. I mean, Bill was a part of a sitcom that was a comedy, right? However, as a comedian, you have got to understand that everyone has a threshold. Everyone has a threshold. That person you pick on in the front, yeah, you can say what you want. It can be old jokes. But if they decide I'm had enough and I'm going to pull out my fist and go at you, that's the way they want to react. Not that we agree with it, but hey, it may be something that some people just feel like they need to do to defend themselves. It may be something different from what we agree with. I don't know. I would love the backstory on this. At the end of the day, my hope, like, what can we learn from this? I think we can learn that every last one of us are human.
Yeah, definitely.
Every last one of us are human. And what I am literally going to ensure that I do in this role on this show is make sure that people know the difference between black spaces and white spaces, because there's a goddamn difference. And we have been conditioned. We have been conditioned to believe that white spaces are safer, to believe that we should act a certain way in white spaces. If this behavior is wrong in a white space, then why should it be acceptable and not wrong in black spaces at the
It's
family
wrong in most
barbecue?
spaces.
So my hope is that these brothers come out publicly and say, you know what? Wait for it. It was to promote our upcoming movie together. That's probably not the case, folks.
No.
But that's my hope. Because I would hate to believe that all that's going on in the world, especially with the black families and black people, that this is not something that we want to put out there on a night when one was finally rewarded for the work they've done in a space where black people haven't been on it.
And produced by black people too.
Haven't been on it. An event that done everything to show to welcome you all. I have an issue with that. Why are we always begging to be a part of the spaces that people don't want us in? Go create our own and show it the same love and respect. Show up for the damn award shows. But anyway, let me go to the comments because you all got a lot to say. Karen Simmons says, absolutely not. Will Smith had no right to put his hands on someone. Chica Rana says, Laverne Cox disrespected the Smiths last week publicly on the red carpet by asking an entanglement question. I believe she didn't get slapped. It was a joke. Well, keep in mind, Laverne Cox, if I'm not mistaken, is a bigger issue at hand. It's a transgender issue. So I think it would have went way different. And again, what's the relationship between Laverne Cox and Will Smith? Traveling Trotty says, this is the good, bad, and ugly of the us. That's what Sherry said. That's what she said. Bermuda Girl said it wasn't Sherry. So unnecessary and embarrassing. Will is totally in the wrong. Why Amelia Yah says, thank you, Jamal Hartman. Bermuda Girl said, where it happened is irrelevant. Will should have escorted out immediately and not allowed to come back. Yeah, just like Harvey Weinstein should have been escorted years ago, but whatever. That's another show.
Yeah.
I so agree. Rashida Godwin, what about the issues of mental health here with Will? I wanted to go there, Rashida, but you're right. But again, my hope.
I don't know about that.
My hope. Well, again, the brother's broken. If all that stuff been going on about your wife putting all that out about you, whatever, come on. Now, I mean, something got to be going on. Let's bring Leanna in.
Lee wants some of this.
I don't know. Let's see. Lee, you want in on this? Morning. Happy Monday.
I like how Sherry was like, no, let me say something on this topic.
She's gonna say something about this.
Honestly, I just listening behind this. Actually, good morning, everyone. First off, like I hope everyone had a great weekend this past weekend. This was shocking to me. Hearing it in the background because I did not see it. No, I did not stay up for the Oscars. Last night I was one of those in my bed at 9 p.m. and like sound asleep. But wow. Well,
you know what, Lee? I do believe that Will Smith just became the butt of a lot more comedy jokes. But
well, you know what? I held Will in very high regard because of his all of his philanthropy and his outspokenness on, you know, taking life to a new perspective and trying to open people's eyes and whatnot. I'm surprised that Will did not keep his composure. I think that is my sentiment on it. Because he believes heavily and he has spoken out publicly on, you know, just being one and in tune with oneself and all of that. And yes, Nikki, I do. Everyone has a breaking point. I believe that. And Will has taken some serious, you know, L's over the last, 2-3 years. He really has. Like he's kept his composure. So maybe this was the straw that broke the camel's back. But I'm surprised.
I thought it was Rick Ross getting on that camel last month. But anyway, real quickly, what does toxic masculinity mean? I see that term used a lot, but Sheikah Rana says displaying toxic masculinity, then thanking God hurt my head. And I don't know what that means. So if anybody can explain it, and the only reason I ask what it means is sometimes, maybe this is one of them, right? I shared something very confidential with Sherry and Leanna before we came on here. And one thing I try not to do is live in guilt. But what can we learn from this? A lot. I want to save some of it for tomorrow as we discuss MP Christopher Famous, because there are lessons. There are a lot of lessons taking place in our lives, folks. Leanna, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Yeah, because for those who don't know about Famous, I'm going to tell you right now.
He is famous after this. Over to you, Lee.
Yes.
Thanks, Jamal and Sherry, and happy Monday to everyone that's tuned in with us this morning. I hope everyone is having a great start to their day. I'm Leanna Lambert, and it's time for the Daily Hour News Break, brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Well, in today's top stories, the island was in a state of mourning this weekend as it recorded 2 road fatalities in separate crashes. A 42-year-old woman who was involved in a single vehicle car crash on Beacon Hill in Sands at about 10:35 p.m. on Friday sadly lost her life. Then in the early hours of Saturday morning, police were called to a report that a 51-year-old man was involved in what appeared to be a single vehicle crash on South Road near Church Bay in Southampton at about 3:15 a.m. And had also died. Minister of National Security Renee Ming expressed her condolences to both families and friends of the 2 persons who lost their lives on our roads this weekend, and said we will keep them in our thoughts and prayers in the coming days. Now, the deaths are the 2nd and 3rd road traffic fatalities this year. A police spokesperson said that no further information will be released until the next of kin have been informed. Anyone who saw the accidents or who arrived at the scene soon afterwards are asked to call police on 211 or 295-0011. In other news, as we just said, an MP backbencher has had to bite the bullet and apologize for comments he made in the House of Assembly last Friday when he made monkey references, which were believed to be about another member of parliament. Christopher Famous said last Friday that his comments came when he talked about the agreement announced earlier between the government and West End Properties for the Fairmont Southampton Property Hotel redevelopment. Now, in regards to questions being constantly asked on when would the deal close and the hotel open, Mr. Famous said, quote, "So I say to all those on the sidelines chirping, one monkey does not stop the circus," end quote. He told the House, quote, "Thank you for supporting the Southampton Princess because 800 workers are going to be employed and one monkey cannot stop the show," end quote. Now, Mr. Famous did not say outright if he was discussing another parliamentarian, and neither he nor Mr. Lister identified a specific MP. Now, Dennis Lister, the Speaker of the House, said that he expected an apology to the House as well as to the person in reference to the comment that was made. And it was one of the quickest bouts we have seen on the island shores when Andre Showtime Lamb made light work of his opponent Dejan Robinson and managed to keep his professional record after securing a knockout victory during Fight Night Champion at the Shed in Dockyard on Saturday night. Now, his opponent, who is from the U.S., was dropped to the canvas 3 times before referee Anthony Mouchette stopped the lopsided welterweight contest just 2 minutes and 50 seconds in the first round. It was the 3rd first-round technical knockout victory and 4th consecutive overall for the 26-year-old Lamb, who improved his professional record to 4-0. Taking a look at today's weather, we have a high near 69 and a low near 61 degrees. Sunny periods develop throughout the day, but there will be a chance for an overnight shower or 2. Now, a series of weak cold fronts rotating around a distant low pressure system to the north will maintain the threat of showers and cooler temperatures over the next couple of days while remaining windy. The wind will ease with rebounding temperatures later in the week, courtesy of building high pressure. That's all for our Daily Hour News Break, brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Now let's head back to Jamal and Sherry in the studio for today's Daily Focus.
That was definitely an up and down news master.
Yeah.
It was a roller coaster.
Really,
It
really.
was.
It's first off, just condolences on behalf of all of us to the families of
Yes.
those we lost on the roads. Congratulations, we did have a boxing feat as well. That, I see these guys training for the boxing, and I'm just like, yeah, my 20-minute miles. I just don't think I can endure it. But Lee, on the monkey reference and MP Famous, I'm not sure if you all remember, and I'll speak about this tomorrow. But Grant Gibbons, former finance minister, when Dr. Ewart Brown tried to cross the aisle on him and was pretty much going to Will Smith him, right? That's what we're going to call it. He was going to try to Will Smith him.
Will Smith.
I only bring that up because it's another example where Dr. Ewart Brown actually stated, you know, he brought my wife into it. The difference is, and to Shara's point, one was comedy, one was politics. What is the standard? What's the universal standard of the language that can be used in Parliament versus comedy versus on the street versus the office? I think it actually comes down to level of consciousness and respect.
Mm-hmm.
Sherry, I know you've got a days of the year. I can't wait to have that conversation about MP Famous tomorrow. You can see.
I can't either, but so today, did you know that is National Weed Appreciation Day?
Like,
Get your minds out of the gutter.
oh,
Nope, it's appreciation of weeds, you ask, because some weeds are actually beneficial to us and our ecosystem. You're still thinking of marijuana, but it's not. It's act as nutritious foods and herbs, and some of them have a medicinal value. So take this day an opportunity to go out in your garden and appreciate those weeds for the benefits they provide.
Well, I was gonna say how fitting, because the MPs passed the cannabis legislation law in the House on Friday. So I was like, wow, how fitting is that?
don't worry, folks. We've got 420 coming up. Don't worry about that.
Exactly.
Right around the corner.
Healing of the nation. Levy, I'll see you tomorrow.
I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Bye,
All right, folks. We've got some guests coming up. Sophia Cannonaire, Eugene Dean. Do not go anywhere. There's a lawsuit pending. I'm telling you. It's getting interesting, Sherry.
It is.
Let's face it, life can be a little wild, but shopping doesn't have to be. I choose People's, so that whether it's a prescription that needs to be filled, a toy for my little terror, or a gift for a new addition to the family, we'll see about that. Everything's available in one convenient location. Some call it People's. I call it my one-stop shop in the city. People's, we're here for you.
The history of everyday use of spices extends back thousands of years into antiquity. Since 1976, the Frontier Natural Foods Co-op has been bringing a wide range of exciting and authentic flavors to the table. A comprehensive range of ancient traditional herbs and spices produced organically and sustainably. The results are good news for the environment and more robust, fragrant essential oils in these natural seasonings. This month, we're featuring Frontier Natural Products, at least 95% organic salt-free lemon pepper. Lindo's. Why go anyplace else?
Mom's celebrating her 70th birthday next month. Have you noticed her age is catching up with her?
Yeah. Plus, she's having a hard time getting up and around like she's used to. I would sure hate to see her fall.
At Medical House Limited, we can help make life situations easier. We have electric beds, motorized scooters, bath stools, walkers, you name it.
Mom's been real good to us. We'll get her birthday and Christmas gifts from Medical House.
Medical House has relocated next to the Dandytown Field. Number 6 Bakery Lane, Pembroke. Telephone 292-3622.
I'm sorry, I just came across a tweet by this Bermudian guy. He says, white female celebs chiming in on Will Smith's very non-fatal slap is the first time they felt negative feelings about black-on-black violence. Bill Burr, where you at, my boy? Handle that. I came across it. But anyway, welcome back to the big show. Sherry Vanderpool, I'm Jamal Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by Medical House One Communications, Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy. Without further ado, let's bring in our guests for the day. We've got Eugene Dean and Sophia Cannonaire, the cast. Welcome to the show, my friends. How's you doing?
Greetings.
Good morning.
Yes. Yes, it got a little hot in here, and you hadn't even arrived yet. You know, it's usually you that bring the heat. But look, let's get to it. So for those who don't know, we actually discussed it almost 2 weeks ago. Whenever it was released, the Collective Action Solidarity Trust Group. But for those who may not have listened to me or haven't seen you in the news, just tell the audience what the group is, what's its purpose, how it came about.
Right. Well, first, I just encourage everyone to go to the website, jointhecast.org. It has the full press statement, also has all the information about the group, why it was formed, and things of that nature. But, you know, the cast is a group of Bermudian citizens, residents, business owners. It's a very diverse group, young, old, black, white, you know, like I said, residents. So some are, you know, native Bermudians, some are guest workers and things of that nature, but who have come together to provide a platform for those who have suffered damages as a result of the mandates that were put in place throughout the pandemic. And there's a wide range of things that people have been suffering from. And the concern is that, you know, there have been no efforts to really uncover these things, to really get an understanding of what has taken place in Bermuda, you know, how people have suffered physically, financially, mentally, emotionally, you know, what type of legal or constitutional breaches people have suffered from and things of that nature. And so there's a huge concern that in the absence of some type of movement of this nature, that time will just go by and the people who have suffered will just have to lick their wounds and kind of like move on. No one will ever be held accountable for anything that's happened, you know, that maybe didn't need to happen. And also that we could find ourselves in this situation, you know, in years to come again. So the goal is to put this in place, provide an outlet for people who have suffered damages to be able to express themselves, tell their stories. You know, we have legal teams that will be looking over all the information, whatever valid cases there are in there, those cases will have the potential of being brought forth, you know. And the hopes is we can put some measures in place to ensure that, you know, there are really clearly defined criteria that outline, you know, how we engage in these practices against, because so many people have been impacted in different ways. It's like this scenario was thrust upon us, you know, and maybe it's a situation where we weren't really prepared, and maybe a lot of decisions were made hastily, you know, and it's not even to say that things are being done maliciously, but at the end of the day, if people have suffered, then that's something that needs to be looked into further, you know.
So I mean, hearing all that, I take your point, and I think I agree with Reverend Tweed. I think, you know, as someone who believes in people fighting for causes that they feel they've been done unjust. But why do you believe? I mean, some of the feedback we got is this really necessary during this time, and we've got so many things going on in the world? But why do you believe a cause like this, an action against the government like this right now, is so necessary? Just explain that to people who may not get it.
Well, it's like I said already, it's like, you know, so you have a situation where people have lost their businesses, people have lost their jobs, people have lost loved ones, you know. So and there's a lot of elephants in the room. There's a lot of things that people don't want to discuss. We have this situation in Bermuda where people are just afraid to speak up, you know, and so this is necessary to provide kind of like a safe space where people can be assured that their information is going to be kept confidentially, and that any movement forward is not going to be a movement where they're left in isolation, where people can move forward collectively as a group and people can feel more secure. Because, you know, I mean, you guys have been having conversations this morning about different things that's happening in the community. Everybody has like views and opinions and things of that nature. And Bermuda, like, public opinion is a really big thing because we're so small and everybody knows everybody, you know. So if I say something and I'm out of line, then I'm going to lose my job, and maybe I won't be able to get a job anywhere else because everybody else is going to know about what I said, you know, or my family is going to disown me, or my circle of friends are going to look down on me. So all of these things are going on. This is kind of like the undercurrent in the country, you know. Bermuda is another world. Bermuda's beautiful. It's nice. People are, all of that is true. However, there are people who are really suffering. And so my question to anyone who's wondering why this is necessary is like, how do we address that then? Do we just leave people who are suffering on their own? Do we show no care, for the people who have suffered damages? Can we at least have a conversation around that, have people investigate and look into these matters to determine if their claims are really valid or not? And that's the only thing that we're really bringing forward in this.
Eugene, you and I, we've had a lot of conversations publicly and privately.
Right.
And of everything you've ever said, I think that right there is probably the thing that I like legit align with you. I think we have this tendency to believe that if we see things as okay, then what is everybody else's problem?
Right.
Why aren't they okay? And I appreciate you saying that in the way you just said it. Like, oh yeah, Bermuda's this nice place, friendly, this and that. There are people struggling.
Yeah.
There are people struggling. And I, again, I don't want to take away from the overall goal of what you guys are fighting for, but we just saw a government case before the Privy Council, right? The government will happily take on another case, and I'm very intrigued and interested to see what comes out of this, not just as a form of entertainment. I don't want people to think I'm here to be entertained by this, but really just to see, what a court finds them liable for with businesses closing down, and so like that aspect of it. Now, again, that said, folks, I don't want anybody jumping, oh, people lost their lives, and I'm not dismissing any other side of that.
No, but people are losing their lives now.
Right. I don't want people come, because I know how it goes. The jump comes and it's like, it's not a dismissiveness. It's more or less, this is a very big problem. And it's so many parts to it. So I appreciate what I'm learning from it. I'm sorry, Sherry. I'm blabbing. Go ahead.
You are, but it's okay. I try. When you talk about being collective, the question is, why should we join the cast?
Right. Well, the thing is that, well, first of all, I say this, people may be wondering about the name. Many people may be familiar with class action lawsuits. Class action lawsuits is something that happens in America under American law, but we don't really recognize that under Bermuda law. So we have what you call representative action or collective action, But the whole idea of moving collectively, it's two reasons. One, unity is strength. The other thing is, if you have people with similar grievances, all trying to go to court at different times, it could totally just jam up the court system. So rather than having a situation where you have like maybe 50 or 100 people going to court for the same thing, those people can band together collectively. You can have a legal team that represents it, and then whatever judgment is given, that judgment is applied across the board to all those people. So there are benefits both ways to the scenario, but the main thing about why we do it collectively is the unity part. Like I said, there's a lot of fear in the community. People are fear. If you're a guest worker here, you're afraid that your work permit's going to be revoked. If you're a business owner that is here, you're going to be afraid that it's going to be some type of backlash that's going to come to your business. Maybe one of your licenses is not going to be granted. Maybe the work permits for your staff are not going to be granted as a result of you speaking out. If you work for government, you think you're going to lose your job. If you work for a business that may seem supportive of some of these mandates, you might think you're going to get fired. So, and then for a lot of people, it's just, again, the social pressure, of how people in their circles feel, and being an outcast. Not everyone is comfortable with that. So that's why we're trying to provide this collective kind of platform to support people, to allow people to come into a group scenario. These are just people in the community. Yes, obviously there are lawyers involved, but the team is really just people that are here helping other people in the country.
As you know, in Bermuda, everyone talks about everything, as you said, that fear and just the thought process of what it is that you're trying to do. What do you say to people that don't believe that this cause is worthy at all?
Well, then maybe the cause is not really for them. This is not for anyone, everyone. We're not here to convince people that they need this. We're here to support people who we recognize already in need. So we're not really trying to change people. If you don't feel this is valid, then it's not necessary for you to get involved. But for people who recognize that this is valid, and we've had a number of submissions that's come in already, and for the part of the team that's looking at those submissions, it's very heart-wrenching. It's causing people to have to revisit scenarios that maybe they have encountered or close family members have encountered and things of that nature, but it's really deep, the impact that this has had. And also, like, not just the impact this has had on certain individuals, but how it's gotten in between families and broken people up. It's really hard. So it's for who it's for, and if it's not for you, then it's fine. It's for who it's for, I would say.
Would you
this never happens again?
say that again, Sophia? I'm sorry.
And to be sure that this never happens again.
Yeah.
What in your conversation just now, what groups of people are you finding are coming to the collective for your assistance?
Well, like I said, it's really been diverse. So to go down, and so I talked about people who have lost their business, people are still losing their jobs from mandates. People are still losing their jobs. It's like as recent as last week, we had people still losing their jobs because of mandates. You've had people, right, who have been injured by taking the COVID injections. In here it's like the Pfizer products, primarily in Bermuda, but the adverse effects have been broad, and so that's going on. You've had people, you still have people who are going on about the masking of children in schools and things of that nature. That's still going on today. And parents who are reaching out, the impact that is having on their children, that it's had on their children. Then you have people who talking about school, children who are forced to get the COVID injections to go to school. So it's broad why people are coming in. It's mental stress, it's legal constitutional things that people are coming in, it's financial loss, it's physical injury, it's death. All of those things are coming in. That's what we're seeing in the intakes.
If you have any questions or comments for Eugene and Sophia, please feel free to share, and we'll get through as many as possible. So, Sophia, you obviously are part of this group. You're present, but your case recently was pushed back again and set back. So, Eugene mentioned earlier that instead of people having separate cases, this is all to bring it one. Is your case one that you're kind of including in this as well? Are you still like? What's the latest with the date change?
Absolutely not. We are going to stand with each other alone and do our case on June the 9th and 10th. Yeah. That's a totally separate matter, really.
Yeah. The reason it's separate is because their cases, the government is taking them to court.
Right. They keep going away.
And it's interesting because they keep pushing the case back and back and back and back. It appears, and again, we'll see when it all comes out, it appears that they're trying to push it so far down the road that by the time it comes up, it's almost like it's not relevant anymore.
But it is relevant.
You know what I mean? But this is part of the reason why this needs to happen, because, if people have suffered, it doesn't really matter how much time passes. It's not like we just get to a certain dispensation and it's like, okay, we're all back to normal now. Everybody should just be happy again. It's like, well, no, because you've caused some kind of irreversible harm in some cases, potentially. And that's the thing that needs to be looked into. Even just investigations go into. Jamal, this is a very sensitive topic. Do you know that none of the media ran this story? Nobody. Everybody was sent a press statement on March 13th. On Monday, March 14th, there was not a whisper. Now, collectively, we anticipated that, right? And we ran ads. The only reason people knew about it is because we ran ads. So next thing you know, there were ads popping up about it. Even the reporters didn't know about it. Do you know that we've been denied access to interviews and inter-island communication? They canceled them. They canceled our, even some of the staff at Vibe They don't want to hear the interviews. Bermuda refuses to run anything about this. Not an ad, not a story, anything. So my question becomes, I'm going to turn it to you now, Jamal. Why are they doing this? I just have questions. Why are they running from this?
Well,
what is it too high?
Well, I honestly cannot speak for them. I don't want to believe what you're saying. And the truth of the matter is, and I'll say it, we have sponsors for this show. But one thing that not one sponsor has done or will ever do is dictate what we say and what we allow. There's a respect there that you don't want to put your sponsors at risk. You sign certain things in contracts that protects them. I don't know exactly what they wouldn't like have a conversation or interview about. You're talking about the actual case, right? The Cass case, right?
Right, the Cass, yeah. They
right. So I'm not quite sure, but I think it's a very dangerous space to be in when media chooses to, I guess, silence or not give the same opportunities to people who they may disagree with. I honestly don't know the reasoning, but for us, I'll tell you, I mean, this space is open to pretty much any conversation. It's not about agreeing with people who come on here. It's about having the conversations and seeing what we can learn from one another. What can we, do to improve our community? I don't think that, I'll be honest with you. Bermudians against the draft. No media wanted to mess with us. I know how you feel. I know how it feels like when the media doesn't want to talk to us. They don't want to highlight us. Only when it was bad did they want to show us. But I want to go to the audience. Sam Cat Play said, my bank account, suffered. My hair dropped out from stress. Don't you think you're doing the same thing we don't want government to do, wasting unnecessary money? She basically says, you're essentially forcing government to respond to this action and spend unnecessary money, our money. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, but if the claims are valid, then how is it unnecessary?
Yeah.
That's the thing. So we're making a lot of implications here. And what we're saying in statements like that is that the suffering that people are having to endure is not worthy of being represented. This is being done for the people. I thought the government was in place for the people. That's what I thought. And if the government is actually in place for the people, then the government should be supportive of this initiative. Because if people are suffering, then shouldn't the government care? And if the government doesn't care, shouldn't the community then care?
Yeah.
Teresa Marie, she said a lawsuit will only hit the suffering taxpayers the second time round. However, the 36 don't care about the cause and they won't. I think basically what she's saying is sometimes you have to go the route of the courts if the 36 elected people won't do the work of the people. But Nicole Walker has a question specifically for Sophia. What impact are you hoping the outcome of your case will have on caste and vice versa?
What impact am I hoping that
our
case about natural immunity and not being a threat to the community will have on caste?
What impact are you hoping the outcome of your case will have on caste or vice versa?
Yeah.
I know that the case that my husband and I are standing for will bring to the fore the truth about natural immunity, what we knew way back, and all of those. So once that's settled in June, and the evidence the government has to bring evidence, the Crown has to bring evidence. So we want all their evidence that they are acting on to come out, which they're not revealing their data now. We want them to reveal the data. So once they do that, then we know it will go in our favor. And then people will be more confident and have more courage to come forward to say, that happened to me too. And they just need to speak about it. They need to get it. They need to get it out. So I want more people to speak, be able to speak up for themselves, to have courage, and to make sure that this does not happen again, because we knew that this was happening back in 2021 early. Yeah. So we just need to speak up when it's time, not when it's too late.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And I was going to say, for those who are interested, where can they find more information about CAS?
Yeah, so you can go to the website, is jointhecast.org. There is an intake form there for you to go through if you want to submit any grievances, and be part of the process. If you just want to volunteer and participate and help with the CAS, then you can email us at info@jointhecast.org, or you can send us a message right on the website. It will come through in the email as well. So yeah, it's a community initiative, and it's going to require the community. If we don't stand for each other and for ourselves, then we can, expect that anybody else will. So this is about the community standing for each other.
And just before you head out, obviously this has been such a trying 2 years, and after one thing, there's always another. Cases like this probably won't make it to the courts for another couple years. We know that it's a true case of endurance when it comes to these kind of things. How are you going to be able to hold people? Because I tell you, Eugene, it was 14 of us on that writ for Bermuda's Gangster Drive. By the time we got court, it was like 3 or 4, right? I'm just help me understand. How is it you're going to be able to keep people interested and hungry for justice throughout this time?
Well, that is a reality. That is a reality to consider, and it's something that we're going to have to constantly manage throughout the process. I think this first phase is helping people to appreciate the fact that this is a real initiative, because I'm sure some people saw it and responded right away. Other people are like, let me kind of see where this goes, And I think as people see that we're staying to do wicked, I would say this: what I've learned over the years is our greatest tool for influence is our example. And so those of us who are central in bringing this forward, we need to show our level of commitment and endurance, and hopefully that we can inspire others to do the same. This will be a long process. We expect that there's going to be a lot of different ups and downs and twists and turns and things of that nature. But I think, again, it's going to be our commitment to it that allows us to go forward. And we're going to require like a lot of assistance from the community, people getting involved, people assisting financially, so private contributions and things of that nature, so that we can stay out in the media and stay relevant and keep it going along. Obviously, there's going to be legal costs involved. But I just want to say this also. I think people, when they see a legal case, people just think money one time. And yes, I'm sure there will be cases where people are looking for damages and things of that nature, especially from the financial loss and things of that nature. But a big part of this is just people being held accountable. And what Sophia kept saying about things being put in place to ensure that if damages, right, have been caused unnecessarily, that there are mechanisms to prevent that from happening again. And at the moment, there's nothing in place to cover all of those things. And if we can achieve that through this initiative, then that would be a huge win. We just need to investigate this, to look into the things that people have questions about, rather than burying them underneath the rug.
One last question, Talent TJ Clark: if cost wins, shouldn't every taxpayer get some funds, or not just the ones who choose to put forth their case? Is it every person's money that's being litigated, right?
Well, I'm not really sure how that works, because you can't say that because you go to court, Jamal, over something and you won your court case, that I should benefit because you won. I would have to be involved in the process, and that's the whole thing around the collective action. But people do have to engage the process to be involved.
All right, Eugene Dean, Sophia Kenner, thank you so much. You wanted to add something?
Yeah, let me just say this: that we're doing a Facebook Live with Youth Connect on Wednesday. What time is that?
Wednesday at we haven't decided on.
Oh, okay. We're doing it on Wednesday evening with Youth Connect, but also we're having a public forum, online public forum. You'll be able to access it via the website. That will be on Friday at 4 p.m. And this is just, if anybody has any questions, anybody has, just anything that they would like to know. If people have concerns, then we will have representatives available to answer those questions and to assist people who want to engage in the process.
All right, no problem. And I just want to say, I mean, back to the media thing. Media, in my opinion, has a responsibility to share information with the public, not the information they want to share, but the information that is necessary for the public to know. We can't take sides in this stuff. Once we, begin to take sides, credibility comes into question. So my hope is that whatever it is, people can allow spaces for people, even those they don't agree with. I've had a woman that pretty much fired my ass on the show. I don't like her, but it's not about me. You know what I'm saying? So my hope is really that we can do what's necessary, and the responsible thing is to communicate, engage, and have conversations that help and benefit the people in our community. So thank you.
Yeah,
trusting our platform, and we look forward to having you guys back sometime.
Yeah, for real. Give thanks, Jamal.
No problem. Appreciate it. All right. Sophia Kanye, Eugene Dean, thanks again. The cast, jointhecast.org is the website if you are interested in learning more. We're going to take a quick break, then we'll come back and wrap it up. That word ass keeps coming out a lot.
A lot happens around your home. That is why at One Communications, we have introduced affordable security and video monitoring, because everyone should be able to afford to protect their family. Anytime, from anywhere, One Home Security keeps you connected and puts security in your hands with an easy-to-use smartphone app to control everything. Home security is important to keep you and your family safe. Motion-activated cameras around your home and security monitoring within create a complete security system providing protection both inside and outside your home. Professional monitoring means that there's someone on call with 24/7 protection to notify the authorities and help keep you and your loved ones safe. We are dedicated to whole home protection with indoor and outdoor cameras, smart door locks, motion sensors, and more, so you'll always be connected to what matters most. With professional installation, no upfront hardware fees, and low monthly rates, because keeping your family safe should be affordable for everyone. Total home video monitoring and security, there's no better way to protect your home than with One Home Security.
Alrighty. Welcome back. Thanks again to One Communications, People's Pharmacy, Linda's, and Medical Health for ensuring we're able to do this with you. Thanks again to Sophia Kanye and Eugene Dean. If you appreciated that conversation, you know what to do. Give us a thumbs up, a love, a like, and make sure you share that kind of information around the water cooler. Sherry, it's time for Daily Play, brought to you by Heineken 0.0, great taste, no alcohol. Are you ready?
We're running out of time, Jamal. Let's go.
Oh, that's what she's doing. Okay. It's a Who Said It. Quote, stop letting people do so little for you.
That's it?
No. Stop letting people do so little for you. Control so much of your mind, feelings, and emotions.
Will Smith.
Nah. See, I think like you're throwing shade at the brother at this point. Seriously.
I was like, he's gonna say it's gonna be a Will Smith something. I know it is.
I was gonna do Chris Rock, but I said nah. I'm gotta do Will because I wanted to kind of make him look like a hypocrite, kind of. So I was trying that thing like, oh, he'll like controlling your emotions, but yet out there smacking a brother. Really, bruh? Really? Anyway, yeah. Famous, it's your turn tomorrow, bruh.
Oh, Chris.
It's your turn tomorrow, bruh. Love you. But hey, your turn tomorrow. Sherry, what's your thoughts on today?
When it comes to just what did we learn from this? For me, I'm hoping that Will learn some self-control within himself. We also understand that comedians will be comedians and they have a job to do. And that's all. Yeah, that's it. For Will. As far as Eugene is
for Will.
Yeah, that's all. As far as Eugene and Sophia, I love having Eugene on the show as well as Sophia. I do tend to learn a little bit more about his cause and what he stands for. I appreciate this collective that they're bringing together. I feel like if you have something that, damages or different things that you want to put forward to the court, then go ahead. And I love his tenacity. Keep it going, Jamal. See, Eugene.
Well, I honestly, folks, I don't, with the Will Chris Rock situation, I really don't have an opinion. My questions are honest. They're honest questions. I just know myself. And what I know about myself is I cannot predict my actions in any situation. I know what I'd like to do, but what I'd like to do and what I'll actually do are probably two very different things. I don't think, I'll say it, I just don't think that it's responsible of me or anybody to act like violence is ever okay. There are processes in place. My hope, honestly, Sherry, I know you all laughing at me. My hope is that they come out and say it was staged. Honestly, that's my hope with it.
Yeah.
Maybe
I agree.
Maybe I'm being naive, but that's my honest hope, which is why I'm trying to reserve as much as possible. Because even if you look at the slow motion, the way Chris Rock set up his face like he knew it was coming, I'm like, they've got to come out on Friday morning, Sancha's birthday, April Fools, and say, gotcha, we were just early. Something.
It's the emotional part afterwards that did it then.
Yeah, Sherry. I don't know. Brother Will and Chris Rock, I tell you what, if it was real, if you brothers came out, sat down, had a public conversation, I guarantee you that love that you may have lost from people who have supported your careers may return in an instant. But I would hope that two black men at the level you're at will publicly make this right.
Yeah.
That's my hope. As far as Eugene Dean and Sophia, honestly, it's really not about agreeing with people. It's about listening, understanding, engaging, communicating, and just trying to, figure out, what don't I know? What can I learn? So for that, I'm thankful that they've chosen to engage. I know you've got some daily inspiration for us, Sherry.
I do. Love the life you live and live the life you love. Bob Marley.
Bob Marley. Also, I'm heard that. Is that lyrics or just a quote?
Just a quote.
Okay. He was good at it, folks. All righty. Thanks again to our partners, Medical House, One Communications, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy, for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you so much for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. She's Sherry Vanderpool. I'm Jamal Hartman. My friends, make it a safe and great day. Peace. I knew it wasn't her cup. She's sipping on something.